These polymer bills I've used in the past to quite surprising success as a tire boot. So you put it inside the tire. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to talk about this. This is an EDC pump from OneUp Components, and it's a hidden tool. I've been in the bike industry a really long time, and I've seen all sorts of new ideas and new products and marketing wank and other nonsense. And it's really refreshing that every now and again, ever so rarely, something comes along that is awesome. That a product manager has listened to a customer, listened to an everyday person who has a problem, and they wanted to fix it. And they have the right product team and people and just mad scientists that make something that's so rad. And this is one of those rare items. OneUp Components is a company out of Squamish in Canada. They built probably one of the first of those expander cogs that everyone and their dog has to convert their 10-speed cassette to a wider range for early one-by conversions. And they've made other stuff since then. They made the Shark, which is a 50-tooth cog for an 11-speed cassette to give it that 500% range. They do all kinds of cool stuff. What they're doing is they just listen to people. They listen to customers really well, and they build a product that makes sense, that's clever, and solves the issue. Instead of having to rely upon, shop staff and sales reps to try and explain away the problem, they actually just come in and say, well, that is a problem. Let's fix it. The problem they're solving here is the backpack. Funnily enough, way back when, almost 30 years ago or so, or 20 years ago now, the Camelback backpack came out, right? It was revolutionary, changed the whole game. You had a bladder on your back, you had a pack, you carry all this stuff with you for days. And that's how it was. Everyone and their dog went and bought one. I've got 2 or 3 of them in the garage. They are super handy, but they get really annoying. You put 3 liters of water on your back, that's 3 kilograms or 6 pounds or so of weight back there. Plus, you're going to fit the pack, you're going to fit a jacket, you're going to fit some stuff in there, you're going to fit a first aid kit, all of these things in that pack, which is up on top of your shoulders, and it's just annoying to ride with. So what people have been doing, myself included, is just trying to find ways to get that stuff off my back and just store it on the bike somehow. And that's been duct taping tubes, the top tubes, and trying to fit a multi-tool staffed under my seat or my shoes. I've seen guys run inside a 510 strap. There's lots of things out there people have been doing to try and get the stuff off their back. For a ride less than 3 hours, I could usually rock 2 water bottles and then a multi-tool and pump. So I also wear a Sombrio smuggler bib, which has little pockets in the back, which gives you more storage space. But for quick rides, I run literally just a bottle in a cage. I have a tube strapped to my top tube, and then I have this bit of magic. So this thing is a hand pump. Obviously, pumps away. It just clips onto the valve, or it just pushes onto the valve. There's no lever, there's no hose to put on. It's just on, and that's it. It comes in 2 versions, the 100cc and a 70cc. This is the 100cc, which is their mountain bike version, I would say. As you've seen in my past video, I was able to seat a tubeless tire with just this thing, which is pretty impressive in my opinion for a hand pump to get enough volume, and it's fast enough to do that. It's an all-metal pump, so your handle, your barrel, your shaft thing there is all aluminum, making it really stable and really stiff, which I quite like, and it's going to have a long-term durability, which is going to be nice as well. They use a gasket that comes down that's quite tight-fitting, and you put down this little line here, and then you just push this up, and it locks that in place, and that thing is in there. It takes quite a bit to pop it off. But that's only part of the magic of the pump. Other part of the magic of the pump is the head up here unthreads. And there's this thing that comes out. And that is for a CO2 canister to thread into if you want to use CO2 in your tire. So if you're just want to get that one tire change done fast, if you're in a race, if you're trying to hit your buddies, if you just can't be bothered pumping 100,000 times the pump. These takes about 200 pumps from 0 to 30 psi on a 2.4 29-inch tire. This is what I've done the counting on. But this cuts about 150 of those pumps out probably and gets it up there on that size of tire. It's only 16 grams. Doesn't fit a 20 or 24 grams. Doesn't fit in the barrel, which is fine. But then, like I said, the whole point of this thing is to get it off your back. So you're like, well, I'm not going to carry this in my pocket. But you don't have to. It actually can do two things. This threads back into the head of the pump. And then in the back of the pump is this little hidden nugget. So it has the multi-tool in it, as well as a storage container. Now you can run either the storage container, like I've done here, which I do most of the time, or you can unthread that, and then you can thread in a CO2 canister into the bottom, like so. And then that stores inside of there, which is pretty handy. Personally, I don't use CO2 canisters all that often. I just don't have a need. I'm not in a big of a rush. I don't go for bike rides to be done as fast as I can, so I get a flat, just part of the experience, and I'll just pump away. But what I do tend to do is indulge in post-ride beverages. I don't want to carry a wallet around, so in here I keep a tire boot or dollars. So this is a $20 bill. It can fit in there nice and tight, which is handy. It rolls up. These polymer bills I've used in the past to surprising success as a tire boot. So you put it inside the tire, your tube goes in there, and it presses against the wall of the tire, so you don't burst the tube at the side. If you get a sidewall slash or some sort of like cut in the tire, that'll get you home. When you get home, you pull that out, go to the pub, buy a pint because you had a rough day because you slashed the tire. Pretty handy. So I put those in there. Occasionally I'll put, I have some electrolyte tablets that I can fit in here as well, but all fits in the bottom of that thing, threads in the bottom, and then it just all stores inside the pump. Pretty slick. But there's the tool inside. We're only talking about the pump and the container. The clever part has only begun. This is the EDC tool kit here. So it just pops apart, just clips together, and you get 4 pieces here. So you get the main part, which has little holes in it, little holes in the back of it here, and in there carries your master link. In case you break a chain, master link here, pretty handy. Then you've got the tool itself, and the tool opens up, and you got it's a pretty standard multi-tool, kinda. It gets a little bit crafty. So you have your 6mm Allen key, your 4mm Allen key, 2.5, and a 2mm Allen key. So your limit screws on modern day SRAM and Shimano stuff, your lock-on grips, your 4mm Allen key is pretty handy to have, 6mm as well. And then on this side, you get a 3mm Allen key, T25 Torx for your rotor bolts, a 5mm Allen key, which is what your stem bolts typically are, or a seat post bolts. And then you get this weird thing here. And this, I think, this is the thing of rocket science. This thing here is so clever. So out of the gate, it looks really weird. What it is it does, if you buy this tool, it can also go, I'm storing my tool inside of a pump. That way I can have one pump and 3 bikes and just move the tool from bike to bike to bike to bike. I don't have to have a bunch of different ones. But I'm always going to need a pump, always going to need a tool. That's why I did that. But it can also store inside of your head tube via a little conversion kit they sell, where you knock out your old star-fangled nut, get rid of your top cap, this whole thing plops inside, and then it uses a cassette lock ring to give preload to the headset instead of a star-fangled nut and top cap, which is quite clever. But if you get a loose headset, you never get, no one has a cassette tool on them in the tool bag. But these 2 little nubbins right here, here and here is a tool. That's a cassette tool that you can pop in your head tube and tighten it up. The other day, actually, on a loose ball bearing hub I had in the shop, I had a cassette off when I was at home. I managed to pull the axle out of the non-drive side, and then using this and then a slight tap of a hammer, I was able to unthread the cassette. It's pretty slick, actually. But it does that. It's a cassette tool, but then only getting half started. Then a third started. The next tool you get is you take your 5mm Allen key and place it next to it, and now it is an 8mm Allen key. So that does your crank bolts, does all those big bolts. It's long. It's a pretty big Allen key, a pretty big tool, probably 2.5 inches long or so. So you can get a fair amount of torque. You can do everything on a bike except getting a crank bolt up to 40 newton meters, which is kind of the standard torque spec on those things on an 8mm bolt, is going to be hard. But if your crank comes loose, it'll get you home, which is what we're trying to shoot for here. And then if you open it up like so, in here is a little like pathway. It's been machined in it. And then a chain. I'll actually put a link to their website because they show it best. I've tried to do it myself in a video, but I don't have enough hands, so their video is pretty good. You rest the chain in here with the master link pivoting up. So the link sits here, chain goes up. And then using this and your knuckle and this, you just push it together, and that'll open a SRAM master link, or any master link essentially. It's pretty hard on the SRAM one because the SRAM 10-speed, 11-speed, and 12-speed master links are actually called power locks, not power links, and they're not designed to come apart really. They should be taken apart with a chain breaker. No one ever does, but you can use Nuno's pliers, this little doodad. Park Tool makes a master link plier set, but this thing will actually break open a SRAM power lock, which is pretty impressive. So all the tools you're ever going to need to do most things on your bike is right there. But if I'm going to break, if I have a broken chain, I need a chain tool, which this thing has. So on the other side of this containment bit, you have a single tire lever, which has a shallow little hook in it, and it's plastic, which is always the key. Plastic tire levers are the best, because if you're torquing on this thing, you're going to fail this before you fail something more critical. I've seen lots of carbon wheels come in because they're often really tight to get tires off, where folks have used metal tire levers and torqued away and just try to pop that tire off and then just collapse the rim. I've seen it on some old stands, alloy wheels as well. People just hooning on that thing and wrecks the wheel. Plastic levers are handy. You're not going to damage the paint. You're not going to fold the wheel in half or collapse a carbon sidewall with it because it'll just fail before you get there. Anyways, we'll get back to the tool itself. So using your tool, you get yourself a 4mm Allen key out, and you undo this chainring bolt. You use the bolt here to mount this on. It's a standard chainring bolt, so if you ever lose a chainring bolt, you have a spare one in the kit, which is always kind of sneaky. But then if you turn it 90 degrees and lock it back in there, now you have a chain tool. And that's pretty convenient. You use the 3mm Allen key on the side here. Oh, that's the 2.5. That's the 3. You use the 3mm Allen key, which goes on the side, like so. Put your chain in there, and then you just unthread the pin, push the pin in, break the chain if you had to. It's not an excellent chain breaker, but it's not designed as one either. It's designed as a broken chain cleaning up device, I would say. So if you break a chain, you need to get the old broken link off. And that's what this thing is really designed to do, so you can get it cleaned up and put a master link in it, right? Most chain tools allows the chain to go all the way through, not just kind of sit at 90 degrees here. The chain will come down and then come out this way because you're trying to break off the old broken splayed link. That's all it's to do. It will break a chain. The other day I installed the Shimano chain on my bike with their standard shear pin. It's a bit finickier, but it does do it. But pretty handy. And that thing threads in there again, just like so. That's a chain tool. But it's also more than that. But wait, there's more. On the end of this thing, if you take this whole tool out, we'll just unthread it from the chain bolt, there's this. You see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little cuts. Those cuts are actually wrench flats. And this thing has 4 different spoke wrenches in it. So pretty much every spoke wrench key size you need, except for maybe those weird Skorx ones from DT, but your standard spoke nipple will fit in there. So if you have a wompy wheel, you gotta wear it true. You can give a little trail slide fix. To be honest, with the day I was at the shop and we couldn't find a spoke key that I needed. It had just gone for a walk, and we found it underneath the toolbox later on. But I had to get a wheel built for customer, so I went to my bike, popped this thing off, and I built the wheel using just this thing. It worked surprisingly well. I was not holding my breath. I thought for sure it would round out the alloy here, because it's made of aluminum, and usually spoke keys are made of steel, and I thought it was going to round this, but it holds really, really tight. It fits really well. I was very impressed at how well that lasted, and it looks like it's never been used. Like you have no idea. I'm so stoked at how well that worked out. And then this just threads back on there, and then just reassemble the whole thing towards itself. That just threads in. When you're putting it on, you got to make sure that you finish with the bottom, which is this little thing here a little nubbin. Okay, man. There we go. It's a little nubbin on the bottom here, and that's the key. You gotta make sure that is on the bottom. It's not facing up this way. So when that's all said and done, you want to put the whole thing away. This just sits on here. It has to go on a certain way, like that, because of these little teeth are a little bit pronounced, and they have a little relief in the lever for them to sit in, just like so. Grab your piece. You put the top piece in first. That little nub on the bottom just snaps in the bottom like so. And then you take your storage device or your CO2 canister, throw it on the bottom, take your pump, it goes home, and that's it. Again, this thing, I've used that tool, I've had this thing now for 3 weeks maybe. I think I've used that tool every day, whether it's been at home, trailside, a couple times at the shop. It's just like, it's so handy and so well made. I don't think I'm going to ship anything out. It's a really robust, well-built product that solves so many of my issues of getting things out of pockets, out of hidden compartments. It's just in a pump. It's right there. I've got mounts for my bikes. I just swap pump from bike to bike to bike, and that's it. You know, it's not a cheap pump. In New Zealand, this is $150. So it's $75 for the pump, $75 for the tool kit there. But, you know, it's all here. It's done. People spend at least that on just the pack alone. Plus, they buy tools to go inside of it anyway. So it's not crazy expensive, especially for a full metal internal pump and a very well-built tool. It is awesome. I'm trying to get more folks I talk to about getting on these things. So it just solves that issue of fitting things places and short rides. I don't need a full backpack on. I just need to take a pump just to get a flat, quick multi-tool, and we're done. And then money in there for beers. Thing's awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the review today. If you have any more questions, you know where I am. Send me a message. Type in the comments. Let me know if you subscribe. Again, I'm doing review. Anything else you want me to review that I have, I can get my hands on, I'll do what I can for you. Have a great day, folks. Cheers.